We see someone like Bill Gates propounding we should extend the shutdown to even longer. He's very involved in various vaccines and other aspects. But of course, Bill Gates' father was one of the leaders of Planned Parenthood in Washington. And what does that relate to? Well, that goes back to Margaret Sanger and the history of what happened with Planned Parenthood, their entire origin, their entire orientation. This is something I have personal experience with because it also is going to relate to sterilizations. It's going to relate to the misuse and abuse of vaccine power. It's going to relate to the history of the FDA interfering with and impairing and at times being corrupted in the process of determining what medicine we're allowed to see, what medicine we're allowed to receive, what medicine we're allowed to choose to give ourselves. It's going to get to the issue of the media attacking currently anybody providing supplements or other things like that to help boost immune systems or help improve people's health and well-being, when in fact large numbers of the media and people within the medical community just over the last several weeks have been promoting the same mechanism of making sure you are as healthy as you can be during this time period, because the risk is not only coronavirus, but the flu and other particular viruses that may be out there. And it's just always sage and wise to be as healthy as you can. So why is the media launching an attack, or groups like Media Matters launching an attack on people simply promoting people's personal health? Why is there this obsession with not only monopolizing the medicine that can be accessible to you, but monopolizing the information you have about that medicine? Well, that goes back to Planned Parenthood. That goes back to an alternative and ulterior agenda about a century ago. I learned about it firsthand when I was a young student, a scholarship student at Yale University. There, I was part of a group that sponsored a dinner and a debate. And so what happened is there would be a discussion and a debate before the dinner, and then everybody would go down and join a dinner that would mix professors and students and speakers and people that were connected to the speaker. One of those people was the daughter of Justice Breyer, who sits on the U.S. Supreme Court. As part of that, we did one presentation that involved a high-ranking official with Planned Parenthood. Now, I didn't know a whole lot about who they were or what they were. I just assumed that their supposed goal was simply to promote the abortion access in various communities across the country. And whatever one thought of abortion, it seemed that they had no other agenda. I learned otherwise that night. I sat down to next to the speaker for the dinner afterwards, and what he told me I have never forgot, even though that was about a quarter century ago. And as he was sitting there, he presumed things about me as a Yale student that also frightened me in what he told me. The way he put it, he said, Bob, have you looked at where the population is expanding? And I realized what he meant. What he meant was that his goal and objective with Planned Parenthood was to control low-income populations, disliked populations, and minority populations in places like Africa and Asia and Latin America, including in the lower-income areas of the United States. Then, of course, that motivated me to dig in a little bit deeper to Planned Parenthood's history, and in the process of doing so, researched a lot of the things Margaret Sanger had been saying in the 1920s in her publications and other aspects. And what it revealed was a history of the intercorporation of eugenics with Planned Parenthood. What a lot of Americans still don't know is that the Nazis attribute American eugenics movement to their own Nazi movement in Germany. In fact, the eugenics movement predated the rise of the Nazis in Germany. Here in the United States, our Supreme Court even greenlit that eugenics movement in one of the most horrendous and infamous decisions in American legal history. And in fact, often our people in nice white lab coats and doctors and medical professionals would go door to door and explain to people they were there to give them a helpful vaccine or something else, and it turned out to be a sterilization, so they could never have children of their own ever again.